bakers and bakerettes, how are you today? I hope you guys are having a blessed Sunday as I am. All praises to the Most High. Today I am going to show you how to prep something that I usually tell you in a recipe, how you can make modifications if you don't actually have something readily available and on hand in your kitchen pantry. All right. So in the last bake, and also in the one with the lemon or Australian lemon scones or Australian lemonade scones, and also with most of the pound cakes that I've prepped, I told you that I always use white lily all-purpose flour. And I know a lot of people use self-rising flour. I choose not to because as a chemist, I know that this is mass produced, okay? And I know that there is a ratio of the leavening ingredients, such as the baking powder, to the 1 cup of flour. And everything is equivalent to the 1 cup of flour, whether you're adding the salt to it or if you're adding the baking powder, as well as incorporating some baking soda in some recipes, and also cream of tartar, because these are all leavening processes or leavening ingredients that partake in the leavening process once they are placed in your oven at the specific temperature, because they're activated by heat, and that's what allows the cake to rise, okay, or whatever you're baking, it allows it to rise. All right, so I opt to always do everything from scratch and prepare my own, and therefore I know that my ratio of baking powder to flour, 1 cup, is accurate. Because if you buy the self-rising flour and you let it sit in your pantry on the shelf, and you pull it out and you just start scooping flour out, things settle, okay? And you really don't know if the ratio of the flour to the leavening ingredient is accurate for the bake that you're going to prepare. A lot of people I see, they bake cakes and they post pictures and they ask questions. Their cake will, it appear that it's rising, and then it will pop or burst open, and then it'll flop. It'll fall back to the bottom of the pan because you had too much leavening ingredients incorporated into it. Okay, and even eggs, although they are for consistency, they also attribute to the leavening process. And then sometimes people will bake and the cake will not rise, and that's because you don't have the adequate leavening ingredient. Either you forgot to add it, or if you use self-rising flour, the ratio was off. So I don't discourage anyone from using self-rising flour. If it works for you, it works for you. I've always been one that erred on the side of precaution, so I would just prefer, for accuracy purposes, to prepare my own. Because we know that once we add the flour, the baking powder, salt, baking soda, or even cream of tartar, you now have the self-rising, right? So as I said in the last bake I did with the Australian lemonade or lemon scones, that in Australia they call it raisin flour, in which they use what I usually use, which is going to be just all-purpose flour and your baking powder, which is called raisin flour. Now, if you do it the American way, which they call it the self-rising flour, you're going to have your all-purpose flour, you're going to add salt, and you're also going to add the baking powder. And that's what we call in America self-rising flour, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. So what we're going to need here is 2 cups of the all-purpose flour. Now, if you want to prepare this and store it in an airtight container or in a Ziploc bag or in one of your flour or meal container jars that you buy, or even in a quart jar, you may do so for future use. Right. So you'll take out 1 cup of the all-purpose flour, and even with my all-purpose flour, I usually kind of mix it around because it also sits in, And I you take your knife for this one. You want to make sure that you level. You're getting, you don't want any air pockets in here. You want your flour to be packed in the measuring cup, and then you're going to take the back of the knife and you're going to just rake and level it off in your measuring cup, because here you want to be as accurate as you possibly can. And if you would like to, you may use your balance. If you have an analytical, a kitchen scale, I have the Gator cable. if you have an analytical scale, you can also turn this on and you can weigh this. And of course, this is going to be 120 grams if you're going to be that accurate. You would take your measuring cup and you will place it on the balance. Of course, you're going to tare it to 0, which is what the T stands for. And then you'll just take the flour and you will place it in there. And it should weigh 120 grams. Okay? And that's how you know that you'll have exactly 1 cup, right? So then I'm going to place this in my sifter here. And I'm going to go ahead and sift this 1 cup. As you know, I always sift my flours. Because I want it to be as fine as possible. I don't want any clumps in it. Okay? So that's the first cup. Okay? Now, to 1 cup of all-purpose flour, you will add 1 1/2 teaspoon, 1 1/2 teaspoon of your baking powder. Okay? So that's, as you see, 1 teaspoon. And again, you level it off. Make sure that it's accurate. And then you're going to use your 1/2 teaspoon, and you're also going to level it off. And then I just simply take my whisk and I whisk it to make sure that all the ingredients are well incorporated together. And you can also do it the way I'm going to do it with the second cup, because there are always options. Now, with the second cup, and there's a little left in here, so let me just go ahead and okay. All right. So now I'm going to pull out a second cup. Again, I'm going to make sure that it is evenly distributed throughout my measuring cup. And then I'm going to just rake the top back into the bag, leveling it off. So you can do it this way, or if you want to be spot on, you can use your scale. Then I'm going to add the 1 cup to my mesh colander here, which I love using as a strain, as a sifter. And to this one, I'm going to add the 1 1/2 teaspoon of the baking powder to the flour when it's in my sifter. And you can whisk it while it's in here just to make sure that it sifts through so you don't get, you know, the mess, or you can do it the way I did it the first time. Just bump the sides. Either way it goes, it's going to sift through. The pores on the mesh are wide enough so that the flour sifts through. Okay. So now I have prepared 2 cups of what we call raisin flour. And you know, I use what the Australians use. I use the raisin flour. I use the all-purpose flour with just simply adding the baking powder, simply because I do not cook with salt. And that's just me. Now, if you would like to add salt to yours to make the American self-rising flour, then you will add 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt per cup. Okay, so you would have to add, since I have 2 cups of flour here and 1 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder per cup, you would have to have 1/4 cup for each one. 1/4 teaspoon for each cup. So that would be 1/4 teaspoon for the first cup, 1/4 teaspoon for your second cup, right? And then you will have what you usually would buy in the store here, in your local store, is what we call self-rising flour. Whether it's Martha White, King Arthur, or White Lily, Publix brand, Walmart brand, Dollar General brand, etc., etc. Whatever your local store in your area. Right? So that's how you would prepare your self-rising flour. Now, to store this, you would store it in an airtight container. You can store this in one of your containers that you usually store like your flour or your sugar in. Just make sure you label it self-rising flour. Or if you have one that says self-rising flour, of course, that's where you would place it. You can also place it in a Ziploc bag and seal it so that nothing gets into it and it remains fresh. You can take a quart jar or any jar that has a lid on it that's clean and sterile, and you can also store it in that, and make sure you label it self-rising flour. Okay, so that is the first of the series that I'm going to do from week to week. All of the things that I tell you in the bakes and in the videos that you can do at home, I will come back and show you how to do those and how to actually store it for future use. So thank you for allowing me to enter into your space, and thank you for joining me in my space. I really appreciate you. Thanks to all of my subscribers. If you just drifted through, stopped by, waltzed in, strolled through and stopped, thanks for stopping by and joining us. And I hope that you will also consider subscribing to my channel. I have a lot of wonderful videos and more to come. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, and make sure it's a positive comment, because on this channel we only share positive vibes. We keep it real, but we also keep everything on a positive level. No negativity. Please keep it to yourself. I tell people that my channel is the way I cook in my kitchen, and I do take suggestions, no problem. If you've modified my recipe, please share it with us in the comment section. Just take a picture and leave us a nice comment. If there's anything that you don't like, please keep it to yourself, or better yet, start your own YouTube channel, and then you can go and critique others and kind of make it what you want it to be to satisfy your needs. Right? So thanks again, everyone, for joining me. Remember to stay positive. Please inspire someone, encourage someone, uplift someone. Say positive affirmations over yourself and others. Keep everyone lifted up in prayer, especially those who are going through trials and tribulations now, and the ones who actually went through the hurricane over in Florida. Tropical storm hurricane. I used to live in Florida. They match up to me about tit for tat, give or take a couple of degrees in the wind. But please keep everyone lifted up in prayer. Stay focused, motivated. You stay encouraged so that you can encourage others, because we never know what people are going through from day to day. And the positivity that you share with them could possibly be the only positivity that they hear that day. It could be the only encouraging words that they hear. And that could make a difference in the person, the mental state, mental capacity. It could really be a turning point for them. So again, let's stay focused and stay positive, because we know in today's society we're missing a lot of things: respect, empathy, sympathy, kindness, love, gratitude. I could write a book and go on and on and on. So just stay focused. Thanks again for joining me. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to do another video, and I'm actually going to use this to prepare a dish, and of course you'll see me again, and I will share it with you. So thanks, guys. Have a wonderful end of your Sunday, and I hope you have a great start to the new week. Stay blessed, and also stay cool.